anterior portion of the pectoral region, you will see this big muscle right here. The pectoralis major with its two heads attaching from the clavicular side, clavicular head, and on the sternal side, the sternal head. If you lift this over, this muscle right here is the pectoralis minor. Okay, for the biceps muscle, or the biceps brachii muscle, we have to identify it by tracing it from the origins. So if you flip this muscle, the pectoralis muscle, you will see that this muscle right here spans from this bone, the coracoid process, and therefore this is the short head of biceps. And then beside it is the long head, where it originates all the way from the inside to the scapular bone, the supraglenoid tubercle. This is your biceps muscle, the short head and the long head muscle. This is the biceps muscle with its two heads, the short head of biceps and the long head of biceps muscle. To identify between the two, you will have to trace back the origin of this head to the coracoid process of the scapula right here. And this muscle originates all the way to the scapula onto the posterior side or medial side, the supraglenoid tubercle of the scapula. And it spans the whole arm on the anterior portion of the humerus. To identify the coracobrachialis muscle, you need to open the anterior portion of the arm because it's located there. Flip the pectoralis major and minor muscle, and you will see beside the long head of biceps is a muscle, or rather the short head. Beside the muscle is another muscle that originating from the coracoid process of the scapula into the humerus. This is the coracobrachialis muscle. The brachialis muscle, on the other hand, another muscle on the anterior portion of the arm, is located here on the humerus, anterior portion of the humerus. This is the brachialis muscle. It's a very thick muscle that spans most of the anterior portion of the humerus. The next muscle is the deltoid muscle, triangular shaped muscle that spans from the anterior, lateral, and posterior side of the pectoral region and arm. This is the deltoid muscle with its three fibers: the anterior fiber, the middle or the lateral fiber, and the posterior fiber. On the posterior portion of the pectoral region, you will see this muscle right here. This is the trapezius muscle with its fibers, three fibers: the superior fiber, the middle fiber, which spans from here to this side of the scapula, and the lower fiber.
Go.
Next muscle is the latissimus dorsi. It's a very big muscle from the posterior part of the back region that inserts over on the portion of the humerus on the medial side. This is the latissimus dorsi. For the muscles of the scapula on the posterior side, you will see just below the trapezius muscle, if you flip this muscle right here, another fiber is found. This is the supraspinatus muscle. Now below the spine of the scapula, you will see another muscle. This is the infraspinatus muscle. Below the infraspinatus muscle, another muscle is seen. This is the teres minor. And below that, the teres major. On the medial border of the scapula, you will find three muscles. The rhomboid major, right here, just associated to the root of the spine of the scapula, the rhomboid minor. And on the angle of the scapula, superior angle, you will see the levator scapula muscle. To identify the muscles of the anterior scapula, we will have to open the anterior portion of the pectoralis region. And then imagine that the ribs is taken out from this area. Now you will see right here on the anterior portion of the scapula, a muscle that spans the whole area of the subscapular fossa. This is the muscle called subscapularis muscle. On the medial border of the scapula, you will see another muscle which spans from this area of the scapula and around the ribs. This is the serratus muscle, or the serratus anterior muscle. On the posterior portion of the arm, you will see a big muscle right here. This is the triceps muscle with its three heads: the medial head, the middle head, and the long head of triceps, which originates on the scapula below here, the infraglenoid tubercle. Another muscle on the posterior side of the arm is found here. It's a small patch of muscle located lateral to the olecranon process. This is the anconeus muscle.